everybody, so today's video is going to be based on contemporary reads I hope to be reading very soon. Because as it is summer is the time of year that you usually read contemporary novels because they're just very summery. So why not? I know at least I like reading contemporaries in the summer more often than not because when it's like really cold out and very like wintry, I'd rather not read a very summery novel. I'd rather read something that's dark and mysterious and makes me scared of my room at night. Because why not? It's fun! But in the summer, I tend to push myself more into the contemporary reads section of my bookshelf so I can get these books read, especially since it's a season that I usually read them in. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some books that I hope to be reading this summer that have been on my TBR list for a while and that are just books that I've heard great reviews about and I'm very excited to get in my hands and read. All the books I mentioned in today's video will be linked down below just in case you would like to read them with me. So without further ado, let's get started. Also, side note, yes, I know my hair is a different color because this is actually my natural hair color and I decided to give my hair a break for a year, so I dyed it back to its natural color so the roots won't show, and I'm just gonna keep it like this. Okay, so the first book I have for you is I'll Meet You There by Heather Demetrios. I've been wanting to read this book for about a year now and I just haven't gotten around to reading it, and I am so excited to read it because it is actually a book, like a contemporary novel, that I am so interested in and have been interested in year-round. I just have been so busy with reading other books that I haven't gotten around to this. But this summer is the summer I shall be reading this novel for sure. At least I hope. So this book is about a girl named Skylar Evans, and she lives in Creekview, which is a town that usually everybody's lives are very predictable. You live in a double-wide trailer, you have a baby, and you usually work the midnight shift at Taco Bell. But she has dreams about what she wants to do in life, and that is go to art school. But then her mother loses her job and her dreams slowly come crashing down. So that is Skylar's background, and now we're gonna jump into Josh's background because he's the second character in this novel that we get a point of view from. Josh, he was in Afghanistan up until he lost his leg in combat. So he has to return home and he's really a shell of the man he used to be. But what brings these two characters together is the job that they share, which is working at a quirky motel off of Highway 99. And then they grow a friendship that turns into romance, and it's about them sharing both their griefs and their stories and their isolation with each other and turning it into something really powerful with each other. So I'm really excited to be reading this book just because it sounds phenomenal and I've heard great things about it. The next book I was recommended to me by one of my best friends, Casey, over from Casey and Books, so definitely check out her videos. But Casey has been in love with this book for so long. She's like, Sasha, you need to get it. So I was like, okay, I'll get it. So I got it when I was in the UK last year and I just haven't gotten around to reading it, but I did start the first chapter a few months ago and it was so good. Why I didn't finish reading it, I don't know. I think I got something else to read and I was like, oh, I gotta read it. You know the reading struggle, you guys know. But I plan on reading it super soon because it sounds phenomenal, and it's called Vendetta by Catherine Doyle. This book is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, but in modern day terms. So it's about Sophie and she lives in the Chicago suburbs. Hey Sophie, are you me? No, because I do not have 5 attractive boys moving into my neighborhood, sadly. But yes, she has 5 very attractive boys moving into her neighborhood one summer afternoon, and a chance encounter with one of them leaves her breathless, like gasping for air, because he's probably just that attractive. Once again, there's no guy on my street that is that attractive. Not even sure there's a guy my age on my street. And this guy's name is Nick, and once his heritage emerges, Sophie's life ends up shattering, because it must be really, really intense, his heritage, to be that intensely effective of her life. And then she realizes that the choice between love and family comes at a deadly price. So that is really the summary of this book. It's very vague, but I hear phenomenal things about it, and Casey, she is such a good book recommender, so I totally trust her on this. Cannot wait to read it. The next book is supposed to be phenomenal, and I've heard only great things about it because it is a Colleen Hoover book. Colleen is also coming out with a book called It Ends With Us, like I think in August, and I'm super excited about that because I'll be reading it when I'm in Boston where the book takes place, so super pumped about that. I do have the book with me, but I do not want to recommend books to you guys that aren't out right now. So the Colleen Hoover book I'm talking about is November 9, and this book sounds very good. I've heard amazing things about it on BookTube, on Goodreads, on Amazon, everywhere. So this book is about a girl named Fallon, and she meets an aspiring novelist named Ben on the day of her scheduled cross-country move. And their very untimely attraction to each other leads Fallon to be spending her last day in LA with him. And then once she has told Ben all about her very eventful life, it inspires Ben to write a book similar to that life. It is the inspiration he has always sought after in his novels. And then over time, they meet on the same exact day that they met every single year. And this is amidst all these other relationships that they have had with different people and life choices and crazy stuff that has happened in life, you know, all the life things. Until one day, Fallon becomes unsure that Ben has been telling her the full truth and fabricating a perfect reality for the sake of the ultimate plot twist at the end. So it's very mysterious and alluring and very amazing. So I know that this book summary caught me from the start and made me want to read it, so I'm really hoping to get to it this summer. What? What the heck? Wait, what did you bring in? That's me. Very nice. Fetus Sasha. The next book is The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. So this book is about a girl named Lenny, and it's about when her sister dies, she's torn between two separate guys to help her cope through this very difficult time. There's Toby, Bailey's ex-boyfriend, who shares the grief with her. And then there's Joe, the new boy in town who bursts with life and musical genius. Each of the boys offer Lenny something she really desperately needs, but she knows if the two of these guys ever collide, her world will explode. So this book is about Lenny and her journey through heartbreak and sorrow, but also the wonders of life that can be if you're with the right person. And this book has gotten so many great awards, and I think it's been like nominated for some crazy awards, I forget, but I know that it has been a really big deal in the book community for quite a while now, and so I decided I need to read it. I do. Okay, and the last book I have to share with you guys today is The Problem with Forever by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Jennifer is one of my favorite authors out there. She writes always phenomenal books, and I am always pleased with what I read of hers because she's just that great of an author, which is so awesome, and I'm jealous of her ability to pop out books like, you know, 2 or 3 times a year. How do you do it? Black magic, of course. No, or just she's genius. So this book recently came out and is now in hardcover. I have the arc of it. I still need to buy the hardcover, but I'm going to Barnes & Noble very soon. And of course, support the authors, guys. Buy books. So this book is about a girl named Mallory who has learned that growing up to stay silent is the best weapon. And it's been 4 years since her nightmare ended. We do not know what that nightmare is, but it's been 4 years since then. And she keeps on worrying that this fear for that nightmare will hold her back for her whole entire life. Now, after years of being homeschooled, Mallory's gonna have to face a new challenge, which is public school. And she is joining public school in her senior year. Like, what? Why don't just homeschool her for like another year and just call it good? Send her off to like, you know, college. Senior year, I wanna know why they did that. Like, what made them think that? Maybe it's to help her fear, maybe it's to help like put the nightmares away. I don't know, but I'm curious. And she has thought about all the possible scenarios about public high school, and she thought she already covered all the bases of every single scenario that she had, but until she runs into an old friend and protector, Ryder Stark, who she hasn't seen since she was a child, so seeing him is like a blast from the past. And it doesn't take long for Mallory to find out that their shared attraction did not fade with time. And as their bond grows, it is obvious to Mallory that she's not the only one struggling in life. And when she watches Ryder's life spiral out of control, she needs to make the decision whether to speak up or stay silent. Because the truth needs to be heard. Ooh. Okay, so these are the contemporary novels I hope to be reading very, very soon. They'll all be linked down below if you want to check them out. Of course, there are some other amazing contemporary reads that I have yet to read, so if you have any recommendations for me, let me know down below. So that is all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!